Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news. It's Mondays with Mallory with KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's John Mallory. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, here's Johnny Ballgame and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Monday to you here, Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com. It's Mondays with Mallory, as you heard the sound guy say. Hope you had a good day on Sunday watching NFL football. Everyone's had 36 hours to think about the Boise State game on Saturday night. And, Johnny, we had record people already sitting there, already chatting in the YouTube chat before the show even started today, man. Bronco Nation has a lot to say, and I'm sure that we do as well over the next 30 minutes. How's it going?
Yeah, it's kind of weird in this town, and, you know, we've been here a while now, and certainly some of our colleagues have been here a lot longer than we have, and there is more of a buzz after the team loses than when they win. It feels like historically, and at least historically meaning the last 20 years or so. And here we are again, an 0-2 start. Program hasn't been in this spot in quite some time. And where do they go from here? How do they get this thing going? There's just a lot of questions. There's a ton of season left, a lot of football left to be played, as we all know. And let's get into it and talk about it. And I'm excited to be on the air with you today.
Well, you said, where do they go from here? They go to Saturday at 10 a.m. where they play the number-ranked offense in the FCS. North Dakota, 545 yards per game, leads the FCS. They're number 2 in scoring in the FCS, 45 points a game. And, oh, by the way, the number 4 passing offense, 331 yards per game for North Dakota. So I know it's FCS. They've played 2 FCS teams, but the stats at least – no pushovers coming in here on Saturday. We'll be very curious to see what happens. Probably won't be a huge crowd. It's going to be an early game, 10 a.m. We'll see. We got all week to talk about that. But obviously, I think still fresh on people's minds is this 0-2 start. The explosive plays is a big deal. As Vlad points out, 29 explosive plays, 1,200 yards almost in 2 games. Johnny, someone was ripping on the defense the other day, and I get it, but I mean, in that game, they did what they needed to do in the red zone. They got some picks, they got some fourth down stop. You can call them lucky if you want to that UCF didn't score more points. I get it, but on the scoreboard, UCF only scored 18 points. If you'd have told me before the game UCF was going to score 18 points, I would have liked Boise State to win that game rather easily. We got the offense to talk about. We got this Taylon Green cramping thing. I mean, there is just so many layers to this. As you say, all the food groups are covered here. I mean, where do you want to start? The defense, Taylon Green, the offense, so many things here, and you're the guest, so you get first pick here.
All right, let's start with the defense. I think that is bugging the fan base a little more than the offense. I mean, you've played 2 really high-powered offenses statistically, right? Washington did to Tulsa what they did to Boise State. UCF, I know they didn't get the points they wanted. They still went to the red zone. BJ, was it 5 red zone trips, 1 touchdown in the red zone total? So I think Gus Malzahn and the OC at UCF are probably telling their guys, hey, guys, we did everything we wanted to do except finish. finish in the red zone, and that game is not coming down to a last-second kick. Yeah, I would buy that too, whether it's luck, whether it's opportunistic turnovers. There's a lot of names you can have, but whether you get a turnover in the goal line or whether you get a turnover on the opposing team's 20-yard line, turnovers still count. They're still huge. They're still turnovers. So if you want to call them lucky turnovers or skill turnovers, again, at the end of the day, at the end of the game, BJ, they're still turnovers. So yeah, sure. That is something I'm certain this defense is going to hang its hat on. They wanted to create turnovers because they didn't against Washington, and they did that against UCF. And gosh, the kicking in that game, by the way, we should have started with the field goal kicking. I heard Bob Beeler this morning. I don't know if I've seen another game with that many high skill level kicks made. Even the final one, it was like a 40-yarder, and you felt like it was a chip shot. Because of all the kicks you saw that game between, what was it, UCF's kicker? Was it Boomer? Is it Boomer, BJ? It's the perfect name for a kicker. And then obviously Jonah Dalmas was terrific too, tying the school record. But back to the defense, just way too many yards, not getting off the field on third down, putting themselves, BJ, in 2nd and 4 instead of 2nd and 8. I mean, you just allow an offensive coordinator, and you've talked to OCs like I have. If they're in 2nd and 4, they're just loving it. The whole thing is open. The playbook, I mean. And when you're in 2nd and 8, it's not. And Boise State defensively has allowed its opposition basically just kind of a hall pass to kind of do what it wants and move the football, and they have to figure out a way. They don't get pressure on quarterbacks. 2 sacks in 2 games. He's just not going to win a lot of games that way, BJ. Defensively, we still see them getting beat on splash plays. I don't know who said it, but what's the total number of 20-yard plays given up by this team so far in 2 games? Did I hear 23?
29, I believe.
29? What?
No. I can find it for you here right now.
It's 15, 20-yard plays per game? Like, that has to be cleaned up. If that's the case, then my gosh, BJ, that's too many. Way too many.
No, it's not that many. 20.
Okay, 20.
29 of at least 20, or 20 of at least 20 yards, and that's tied for 130th out of 133 teams.
Thank you. Yeah, you're 0-2. I'm sure those other teams that behind them, they're probably 0-2 as well. So defense, I don't know if it's scheme. I don't know if it's personnel. I don't know if it's just both, but that's going to be tough this year if this defense can't figure it out. It will ease up in Mountain West play. You got me scared now of North Dakota. I think they used to be the Fighting Sioux. I don't even know what their name is. Are they still operating by Fighting Sioux?
They're fighting something, but I think they changed the name. But I saw it on the scoreboard and forgot about it. By the way, also 9 plays of at least 30 yards in 2 games, and that ranks 131st.
Yeah, gosh, BJ, it's a major issue, and who knows if it's going to get fixed in time for North Dakota, if it's going to get fixed in time for San Diego State or Memphis. It has to get fixed, or this is just going to be a really sad year for Bronco Nation. And 0-2, it's looking that way, but there's too much football left. You can fix this thing. You have to fix this thing.
Sorry.
It's all right, man. I'm rambling. You know me, on a Monday, I'm ready to go, man. You fired me up with all these splash plays, BJ.
Well, I was looking at the stats. I couldn't see on camera there on my computer, but only 7 teams in the country, by the way, have fewer sacks than Boise State's 2. There are somehow 7 teams, but I guess if you're looking for a silver lining on that, Georgia and LSU are 2 of the teams that only have 1 sack for their defense, believe it or not, so far. So, yeah, there's a lot of work to go, a lot of work to do, and North Dakota does come in here with a pretty good offense. We'll get to that game towards the end. I got a couple questions for you, but offensively, by the way, I was watching the game. I don't know if you rewatched the copy of the game, Johnny. That final drive for UCF, there was a 2nd and 15 where UCF converted for a first down near the sidelines. The wide receiver actually stepped out of bounds, was the first receiver to come back in, and the announcer actually caught it, and they said that should have been penalized. There was no penalty. They gave him a first down on 2nd. It was the one where the quarterback kind of came out to the right, was right near the sideline, had some pressure, and he kind of lobbed one over somebody's hands, and the guy caught it, fell out of bounds, and it was a huge first down conversion on 2nd and 15, which gave him the ball about at midfield. And for that kicker, about put him in range. And he had stepped out of bounds and came back in, and nobody touched him. So the broadcast caught it, but there was no I didn't see any talk about that on social media or after the game. But that should have been a penalty, which would have pushed him back. Who knows?
I thought I caught it in the press box when we saw the monitor upstairs, but things were happening so quick.
Okay, so you noticed that. All right. Yeah. And I mean, the way that UCF was moving the ball in that last drive, it may have just taken one more play or something for them to get down there anyway. But I did think that was noticeable. There wasn't any talk about that after the game. Let's talk about the offense and Taylon Green and what's going on there. Maddox Madsen came in, almost kind of edged his name into Boise State, history with that, potential game-winning drive, which includes a 3rd down conversion to Cobbs, the 4th and 2 scramble, the touchdown pass to Cobbs, which, again, I don't know how he threaded the needle in there, almost hit the referee in the head, but it was a perfect pass, and he got the touchdown, and great job by Steph Cobbs there. Just left him a little too much time, obviously, but whether or not it is actually a cramp, a lot of people are a little skeptical, Johnny, that a cramp has him out for the entire, almost entire second half of that game. There's talk is that maybe it's a little more in terms of a calf strain or something. Who knows what's really going on there? There's a lot of speculation and stuff, and I don't know. I doubt Andy will say anything about it today. Andy said it was a cramp. Well, that's all we can go on right now. So whatever it was, he could not come back in the game. And, I don't think there's a controversy. Jordan Kay asked in the post game, and before he could even kind of finish the question about it being a competition, Andy just said, no, like we're not going there. No, Taylon Green was not able to finish the game. That's why Maddox Madsen came in. So I don't think there's any reason yet for that. But Taylon Green hasn't exactly played stellar through 2 games, under 50% completion percentage. Not a lot of downfield throws either, Johnny. You look at a lot of the big plays for Boise State, they're on like shovel passes and short screen passes. Like he's not completing a lot of balls down the field. And I think that's a big concern through 2 weeks. So we'll see if they can get back on track against North Dakota. The problem is you're not really going to just because if you beat North Dakota, are you back all of a sudden? Do you really figure anything out or not? So that's kind of a weird game this weekend. But obviously Taylon Green, man, they got some stuff going on there at quarterback.
He's not throwing the ball well. That's a problem. He's not running the ball well. That's a problem. I don't know where to go with TG10. Love the kid. I was more excited about him than maybe anybody else in the media in this town this year. I couldn't wait to see what Bush could do with Taylon Green. We see him in these press conferences. BJ, to me, you look at TG10 last year, and then this year just physically, he's bigger, way bigger. He's massive. He's a massive man. And I thought he was going to come and give fits to college football defenses this year, throwing the ball, running the option, being your everything quarterback that people thought that he was going to be. And I mean, Maddox Madsen is almost like the offense kind of improved a little bit. I mean, Mad Dog's numbers were better than Taylon, better completion percentage, less turnovers. Obviously,
this has got sports talk radio topic all over it. We know you want that quarterback controversy this week.
BJ, there's no quarterback controversy this week. Let me say that. And you know me, I am the one person who will say there's a quarterback controversy when maybe there isn't. I love him. You know that. There is not one here. What I saw from Mad Dog was, okay, all right, if something does happen to TG10, Mad Dog can come in and he can move the chains. Cool. And Mad Dog didn't look as small to me on the field as he does when I see him at practice every day because he's standing next to TG10, right? Every time we see Mad Dog in practice, I'm like, how is that guy going to play in games? And he looks like he's 5'6". Taylon Green looks like a 7-footer. But when I saw him out there, I was like, okay, he doesn't look as small. Okay, I'm cool with Mad Dog if TG10 has these cramping issues moving forward or anything else, BJ. TG10's got to clean it up in his entire game. I don't know if they just crumple these 2 games up and shoot them into the trash can and rework and reform and try to ask Taylon, what do you want to do that's going to make you comfortable? That's what we're going to do then, because like you said, he's not taking shots deep. When he does throw the ball downfield, it's not successful. He's got 3 picks in 2 games. That is not a trajectory he wants to be. And he has, 2 touchdown passes. Aren't they both, BJ? No, it's his 2 teeters. Are they both to Genty?
Yeah, and for a combined, he actually threw the ball combined like 10 yards on both of them. There were 2 screen passes, or one of them was the second one against UCF was Genty coming out of, a wheel route out of the backfield, but both were fairly short 5-yard throws.
And this 11 rushing attempts in 2 games against maybe the 2 best teams on your schedule for a total of 68 yards. So yeah, TG10, he needs to turn this thing on and turn it on right now and save this season. BJ, I have to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Is this worse than last year after UTEP? I don't think it is.
No, it's not. That was you lost that game as a 2+ touchdown favorite. You were underdogs in both of these games. I mean, you were theoretically supposed to lose both of these games. I mean, I have the soundbite, Johnny. I should have had it ready to play this week. But I mean, you said yourself on the post-game show at the spring game at the James, like this team might be 1-4. Like, I mean, it was this isn't some huge shock. Maybe the way it's happening, how bad the defense has looked, maybe just the margin of that first game, the defense not being able to stop anybody. But being 0-2, we talked about it all summer. It was a very realistic possibility. Both these teams are good teams. So I'm not, not to say that I'm not worried, not concerned. There's obvious reasons to be concerned, but as Kent Riddle was saying on the post game, and he got blasted for it, but he's like, who else? He's like, who else is beating this team? Like, he truly believes we're going to look up in 2 months and that it was going to be obvious these were the best 2 teams they played, and that this team's still going to be 9-3 or 10-2 and playing for a championship. So there's a lot of season left, and I get the outrage. It's different when it actually happens, but we talked about all offseason, Johnny. This was a very realistic possibility, being 0-2. We said that the UCF game was the swing game, really needed that to get to 1-1 and get on track, but they were 4-point dogs. I mean, this was not like some upset loss. I mean, it was not a pretty game. I'm not making excuses for them, but this was not, the North Dakota game. The North Dakota game would be worse than UTEP if they somehow lose to North Dakota on Saturday. And we may not have an actual point spread. They usually come out later in the week with those for a FCS game. Some books don't even offer one at all. But I mean, I'm not quite there yet in terms of comparing this to UTEP. But the offense, it has to get better, and there has to be more playmakers, and they have to move the ball down the field more. And it's just, everybody wanted to, I got into it with some guy on Twitter, but like, yes, the defense gave up 500. Yes, the defense gave up 530 yards, but the defense only gave up 18 points. The defense, in my opinion, did not lose them that game against UCF. If you had to blame one side or the other, you scored 16 points at home. That to me is where you lost this game. And so just too many punts, not being able to, I didn't think that, Taylor Green, I believe, had the one interception right in this one. I didn't think that was a great throw. Kind of forced it. Yes, the last drive, sure. The defense on the last drive wasn't able to stop them, and that drive certainly hurt them. But how about Boise State not getting the 2-point conversion either? I didn't like the play call there. Billy Bowens has really struggled in 2 games, and he gets the ball there on the 2-point conversion attempt. It gets knocked away. I would have liked to have gotten Maddox rolling out a little more like they did on the 4th and 2.
Give the ball to your best player, Ashton Genty.
Yeah, Ashton Genty was essentially he was essentially a decoy. He just ran out to the right and did nothing on that play. So that's where the game was truly lost, was the 2-point conversion, because then all of a sudden a field goal would have just tied the game for UCF, and you could have gone into overtime with that crowd in that stadium, which was rocking. So we'll keep the discussion going here in just a second. I got some questions. We got a lot of comments, Johnny, that I want to get to, but I do want to thank our friends over at BVA, Ball Ventures Alquist, Idaho's premier commercial real estate development company. Over 10 projects in the Treasure Valley, 3.9 million planned square feet of construction since the company's inception in 2018. BVA has already made an incredible impact on Idaho's commercial real estate market. We are Idaho's developer, and we appreciate Tommy Alquist and company. We also appreciate Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. They've committed $300,000 to student-athlete scholarships at Boise State, the men's basketball team, the women's basketball team, and their SON management, the Nicolason family. We appreciate them, what they're doing for Bronco Nation News, and obviously Boise State. So support a good community, or a good local business in the community. 19 freestanding Taco Bell stores. You can find one near you pretty much in every corner, but that Broadway location there at Taco Bell. Our title sponsor, RowPaint.com. Johnny's in the Row Paint studios there in downtown Boise. ROEPaint.com. Check them out. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. You've heard Leon Rice talk about getting his garage coating done from them. 5 times stronger than epoxy, the one-day install. Check it out at rowpaint.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, Taylor Green, Riley Smith, Paige Barsh, They're all driving Lithia Ford vehicles on NIL deals. You can as well. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. They got those new EVs, the new electric F-150 Lightnings we showed you about last Friday. Go check them out, lithiafordboise.com. And, of course, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com, the best in mobile e-branch online banking. Our friends at ICCU bringing you the Tyson Degenhart Show tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. We got some great guests we're working on, and that'll be the ICCU.com. And, again, any branch, any corner, pretty much find one. Find a location near you at ICCU.com. Okay, we got a record number of viewership. Johnny, I'm hoping it's because of our good looks. It's probably because the team's not doing great right now, obviously, but we are getting great viewership right now. People are fired up. They got comments. They got takes. I mean, we're well over 100 people watching this thing on a Monday morning at 9 a.m., which is very strong for us. And so let's see a few of the comments here. Folks saying, no way, that was a cramp. Perry says Maddox looked a little like Grant Hedrick.
Hey, the guy who said no way it's a cramp. Did I see doctor ahead of his name?
Dr. Jordan Johnson.
I would like to ask the doctor, if you are in fact a doctor, why was it no way in hell a cramp? I'm not a doctor, neither is BJ. Why? Let me know, doc.
This guy here says he's an orthopedic radiographer. Talon definitely had a calf cramp, saw them doing exercises to stretch his calf on the sidelines, and if electrolytes, water, and massage don't help, then he can't play. So maybe it was just an extended cramp there. We'll see. But I'm not trying to start some controversy with, was he injured? Was he not injured? I think maybe the injury was worse than they wanted to let on, but maybe not. Maybe it was just a significant cramp, and that's what Andy Avalos told us. That's what we had to go on. But Rudy says, even in the Peterson years, winning the conference was always number one. Going undefeated was never mentioned as a goal, or beating a Power 5 team. That obviously is still ahead of them, Johnny, to win the conference. Somebody else had it here. I was trying to find it. But I guess the main question here, Stetson says, win the Mountain West bowl game. The season will be a good ending. That's where I want to go, Johnny. 0-2. Right now, fans are not happy. They're disappointed. They were expecting to at least get one of these two. Realistically, though, I mean, if that kick goes in, are you feeling a lot there? I mean, if that kick misses and Boise State wins, are you really feeling that? I mean, is this all of a sudden this team is good and now they're not because the kick went in? It's crazy how Andy Avalos, if that kick goes, which, by the way, if you watch the TV copy, that kick was starting to go right and then just kind of weirdly kind of came back to the middle there.
Yeah.
Whenever I want that to happen with a golf ball, it just keeps going way right, but it came right back down the middle.
Yes.
But it's just funny how that works because there's no Andy Avalos hating if they win that game, despite giving up 500 yards on the blue. What a gritty win. They're back. They're 1-1. The season's back on track. But that kick goes in, and all of a sudden people are calling for Andy Avalos to be fired. I mean, it's crazy how it goes. So I guess that's part of it. And then if what I and Kent Riddle and a lot of people believe, they still end up 9-3 and win the Mountain West and go to the LA Bowl. Is that good enough around here? Some people I think are going to say no. Some people I think are going to say yes. But obviously the buzzkill of going 0-2 really hurts the momentum for the season. If you were 4-5-0 and then you just kind of sprinkled in 2 losses or not 3 losses and went 9-3, it's kind of the way it happens to be 0-2 and now need a long run here to get kind of the fan interest back. Is not what they were hoping to do. But if this team goes 9-3, they lose one more game, they go 9-3, they get to the conference championship game, they host it, and they win, and they're a 10-3 team going to the LA Bowl. Is that a successful season for the for the 2023 Boise State football team?
Every one of those fans who is calling for jobs and to be fired and people to move and schools, being taking their kids out of school, having to move, all that stuff that happens when coaches get fired. It's sad. Everybody who's calling for that, no question. If the scenario you described happens, they're going to be the first people to run on the blue when they win the conference championship and celebrate on the stage, right? Yes. Again, it's football. We're emotional about this thing, BJ, and fans are, fan is short for fanatic, and yeah, they don't know what to do with this thing. And part of it feels to me like, the standard is the standard. You hear Mike Tomlin always say in Pittsburgh. And to me, if the standard truly is win the Mountain West, go win a bowl game, have integrity, be a solid community member, asset, all that is the standard, then yeah, everything else is still in play. It feels like the standard has been misinterpreted in a lot of ways, where the standard all of a sudden became win every single game. No, that's the standard. And not just win every single game, but win it in historic blowout fashion. This fan base, PJ, before you got to town, went through a decade in the WAC where they just kicked the crap out of everybody, and it didn't matter. And that's tough to take that medicine for 10 years and have all the shuns, puppy dogs and ice cream and fun times. And then now where it's good, but it's not great. It's really hard. And you see that every year when they have doom and gloom. I do think if they would have beat UCF, we're not picking apart the bad things as much as we are. We'd still mention them. Hey, look at all the yardage they're giving up. Hey, TG10 is off to a really rough start, all this stuff. But we're still finding ways to win the game. And that's where I think fans are upset. Find a way to win the game. Even if I get it, it's not all there. You still have to win. That's first and foremost. So I do think if they would have beat UCF, BJ, fans would be excited at 1-1. I do.
And what if, but it's just funny how the way it happened, it's the first two games. And what if they had played North Dakota in the first game and beat them badly and then played San Diego State in the second game, which they play an early conference game sometime. They beat them. They're 2-0. Then they come back and lose to Washington and UCF. After 2-2, are you feeling different? I mean, how many games is it going to take, I guess? How many wins to get back on track? I mean, 3-2 is still in play for these first five. So is 2-3, obviously. So is 1-4. I mean, there's obviously all the scenarios we talked about before the season are in play here, and I don't think they lose to San Diego State. I don't think they lose to North Dakota. So if you can go to Memphis and get that win, and you're 3-2 coming back home to get into conference play here, I mean, the thing is, it's going to take a while now, Johnny, to get people back on board, and you're not going to have a big crowd against North Dakota. It is what it is. I got a final question for you, but first I got to thank a couple more quick sponsors here real quick. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Free shipping, any order over $40. They got the new Talon Green, Ashton Genty NIL hats. You can go check them out. Second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall. Check them out, the Blue and Orange Store. If you're looking for a new job, check out Transportation Compliance Service. They can help you out every step of the way to get into the trucking industry. All the permits, overweight permits, everything you need. It's a Meridian-based company that helps everybody around the world. Check them out, transcompservice.com. Need a new dentist? Dr. Miner, BoiseDentistryCo.com. They make it a fun, enjoyable experience for the full family. 5 locations in the Treasure Valley. Check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com. You need business insurance? United Commercial Insurance can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. Check them out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Ridley's Family Market, shopridleys.com. Download their new app. Get exclusive savings up to 40% off at shopridleys.com. 13 Idaho locations. Check one near you at shopridleys.com. Lean Feast was there yesterday, Johnny. I'm weighed myself again. We're almost to a new low here, Johnny. The pounds are falling off. Where are you at? We're not ready to disclose that part of it yet, but we're moving in the right direction thanks to Lean Feast. Check them out, leanfeast.com/Meridian. They're feeding the football team, they're feeding the basketball team, and they can help feed you too. The best in meal prep, leanfeast.com/Meridian. And, of course, our friend Matt Boucher, Boucher Real Estate, the #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. Matt Boucher, no home too big or too small. Check them out at BoucherRealEstate.com. Okay, Johnny, how many points does Boise State need to win by on Saturday for this fan base to actually be okay with it? Somebody in the chat said they got to win 100-0. I mean, if this is a 28-17 game or something, I mean, what truly, as we said, you can't really learn a lot from this game. But what constitutes a successful Saturday for Boise State against North Dakota?
Obviously it's going to be a massive point margin. It has to be. Okay, 40 something. Defensively, don't allow more than 13 points. Offensively, get in the 40 plus, get some of these stats to average out all of a sudden. I mean, Ashton Genty right now, there's only 2 players in America who have more scrimmage yards than Ashton Genty. That's the kid from Notre Dame and the kid from Troy. Ashton Genty, 365 yards from scrimmage in 2 games, is number 3 in the country. So there is some good things. You have, Bronco Nation, one hell of a football player there in Ashton Genty. Let other players, hopefully more players, start having some good stats like Genty. Right now, nobody does. I think You got to see that. Taylor Green have a really good game. Let's get, if it's not Billy Bowens, give Prince Strawn a shot. A couple of deep plays. Like there's going to have to be a lot of ingredients into that crock pot, BJ, to get Bronco Nation to take a bite out of it, I think. But it's really going to come. You got to be 3-2 with San Jose coming here on October 7th. That's going to kind of get them back. And it's too bad that this town has to go through that. As Prater always says, it's an event town. If it's not an event, it's not going to be a big deal. Boise State, North Dakota at 10 a.m. is not an event. And then they go on the road 2 straight games, as you alluded to, and then you're back for San Jose and conference play. It's too bad that they have to do that. You would think, and you say it all the time too, there's 6 home games in 365 days. And I know there's a lot to do in this town. We all love it, but a lot of people find a lot of other things to do on a Bronco game day, go figure. But the crowd was
yes. I wanted to mention that on the way out. The new lights, we saw them there at the end of the game. After that Steph Cobb's touchdown, that was as loud as I've heard that place in a long time. Now, I'll get on the students a little bit. They still left early. All the students leave at halftime and don't come back. But those that stayed, the rest of the stadium, it was packed. It was loud. The lights were flickering. Only problem was they played the Zombie Nation, which is UCF song. So that fired UCF up because all their fans are going UCF Knights. And so they played it like 3 times. I didn't get that. But the crowd was pumped. It was loud. Hat tip to the crowd. You guys brought it. It was a fun atmosphere. Almost awesome rest of the evening if that kick would have just missed a little more to the right, but it didn't. And Johnny, as we wrap this up, I talked on the phone last night for 39 minutes with your guy Mike Sanford, talking Boise State football, what he saw, where they're at. You may need a 3-hour show tonight, man. I'm just telling you to be ready. Sanford has a ton to bring. I know you're excited for tonight.
I'll clean it up. We won't go longer. We always do, but we're going to get right into the mic drop. That is the opening segment every week on Ball Talk with its new name. Thank you. I think Dayton Robinson suggested that. If not, somebody else did, but that is a perfect name. The mic drop for Coach Mike Sanford. We're going to give him 3, 4, 5 minutes just to tell everybody his perspective of this, and it is a very high-level perspective, sitting in the chairs he's sat in and wearing the jerseys that he has worn in this town. So don't miss Ball Talk tonight. I can't wait already. 8 p.m. and little bit of Idaho Sports Talk, KTIK, with me and my boy Prater. We're going to be getting after this thing all week, too, as you know, BJ. Can't wait for that, too.
Andy Avalos, the coordinators. That'll be an interesting press conference today. And then, you guys will have full coverage, 3 to 6, Idaho Sports Talk today, breaking down the loss and where Boise State goes from here. So make sure you listen, the KTIK app, all the different ways, KTIK.com. Download their podcast as well on iTunes. So we'll be listening 3 to 6, KTIK, and then 8 o'clock tonight on BNN, Mike Sanford and Johnny with Ball Talk. So looking forward to that. So have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll have the press conference with Andy Avalos streaming live on the BNN social media channels at noon. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.